49ers news is absolutely buzzing right now. Trying to parcel through what's real and what's bullshit. But man, oh man, there are some good things that I like seeing. Two things I want to talk about. One specifically, a new coach was just hired onto the 49ers staff. And then secondly, there's some trade rumors out there for potentially two massive defensive players. I'm excited about it. So with that being said, let's get into it, y'all. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Ryan Tigey, back in action. Had to jump on here, necessary, simply because there is 49ers news, good news, that's been floating around these internet streets. Trying to do some cross-referencing, but there's one thing I know for sure. 49ers hire Nick Lombardi to the coaching staff. Some of you may say, who the fuck is that? Nick Lombardi last year served as the Las Vegas Raiders offensive coordinator. He's also the son of Michael Lombardi. Michael Lombardi, he's pretty well known, but for those of you who don't know him, Michael Lombardi does his weekly appearance on the Pat McAfee show. He was a former scout, player personnel, GM in the NFL for a long time. He won some Super Bowl rings as a part of that Patriots dynasty in the 2014-ish point, but the guy's been in the NFL his entire life. He's now retired, does his own podcast, and obviously all these different shows, but that's his dad, Michael Lombardi. Fun fact, Michael Lombardi, his dad actually was a scout for the 49ers. I think it was around 1984. He was a scout for the San Francisco 49ers under the Bill Walsh coaching tree. That's before my time, but that's also cool that there's a connection and some family ties there because he is a paisano. And then, of course, Mick Lombardi, his son, who's been hired onto the 49ers staff, he also has ties to the 49ers. He had been on the staff 2 separate times, I believe, and he is now back reuniting. It's been a while since he's been on the staff, but again, last year he was the Raiders offensive coordinator. And one thing I find interesting, if you've seen my past video, I'm not a fan of the Brandon Staley hire. And there's a bunch of reasons for it, but I won't get into it. You can watch the video if you guys want to check that out. But as we all know, he was a head coach. Shitty head coach, but he was a head coach. And he got hired on to the 49ers staff. You typically don't see, unless it's an OC job or a DC job, a former head coach come and just be basically just another coach with some big title. I think they labeled him the assistant head coach, and you just don't see it that often. And so now with this, with Mick Lombardi, he was a former OC. They haven't officially determined what his title is, but that is 2 coaches that were high up in the ranks in other organizations and are now just Kyle Shanahan underlings. Sends a pretty powerful message to the NFL that a lot of people know what's going on in San Francisco with John, with Kyle. It's becoming a little bit of a coaching mecca. As we all know, the assistant head coach last year was Anthony Lynn. He moved over to Washington Commanders, and he moved up with that move to Washington. But it's pretty unique that you're getting coaches, let alone 1, but now 2 that were in higher positions previously with other organizations that are now kind of taking a step back for some coaching rehab, learn from one of the best in Kyle Shanahan. So that's something that's pretty sweet. And I would say not the norm in the NFL. A lot of times you would see, especially former head coaches, they'll sit out a year if they don't get hired. What we're seeing with Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, those sort of guys, Pete Carroll. So good news on the coaching front. He will definitely add value, another offensive mind. So I'll be curious to see what his actual official title is and what he does for the San Francisco 49ers team. He's been here before with the 49ers, now in an elevated position. His dad's got history with the team. Things are looking good. Transitioning to the second piece of news that has come out. The internet is buzzing. Everyone's hearing about the Los Angeles Chargers. And it sounds like they are in the middle of potentially doing a medium rebuild, if you will. You got Jim Harbaugh there. You got your quarterback there. So technically, I don't guess you can really frame it as a rebuild, but they're over the cap. And potential people that may be cap casualties are 2 massive names. Names you'll know. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. As we sit here today, the Los Angeles Chargers are over the cap. They have to be cap compliant before the new league year starts on Wednesday. And the rumblings they have been looking for potential trade partners for Khalil Mack and or Joey Bosa. I don't know if they're going to get rid of both of them or if they're just trying to move one of them and they don't care which one it is. But nonetheless, they have been out there sniffing around, seeing if any other team would trade for them. Well, the thing about the NFL is everybody knows that they have to be under the cap on Wednesday. So why would you trade? Let them be a cap casualty. They'll get cut from their team and then essentially become a free agent and pick their destination depending on what teams want them. It would be sick. Something that was previously a pipe dream with the Bosa brothers on edge to edge could potentially be something that becomes a reality. How fucking sweet would that be? I'm talking pure domination. But don't get it twisted. Khalil Mack, dude had 17 sacks last year. A fucking monster. So when you look at the two players, and obviously if you had to make a decision on which one you would want, I think they would skew obviously a little bit more towards Bosa, just because obviously Nick, one of the best top two players on the San Francisco 49ers, would obviously love to see that happen, come to fruition. So it will be interesting to see because, as I've said in other videos, just be on the lookout. The Niners are going to be aggressive. They are going to make some splash moves in free agency. Now, with both of these guys, they're older. They've been in the league for obviously a couple years or multiple years, but there's still a lot in the tank for both of them. So when you look at Khalil Mack, he is just turned, or is now, he's 33 years old. Statistically, he had his best season ever in football with, again, 17 sacks. Unbelievable. And what else did he do? He played every game. So he's older and still producing at an extremely elite rate. So he naturally, Khalil Mack, opposite of Nick Bosa, get the fuck out of here. That would be sick. And it would help the defense become productive because we all know we need somebody opposite of Nick Bosa who can play consistently, because it is clear every team in the National Football League, when they play against the 49ers, they are throwing every additional body they humanly possibly can on Nick Bosa. So if we get another fucking stud opposite of Nick Bosa, somebody who can consistently win, not only are they going to have a shit ton of opportunity, because teams were still, regardless of who it is on the other side, they're still going to shade towards Nick Bosa. That leaves it open for the guy on the other opposite edge, but then also guys in the middle, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave. So we need another big time player, not even necessarily name, but we need a big time player that can rush opposite of Nick Bosa. And right now, these are the two guys that are out there. Definitely the biggest names without question. And it's getting me excited, which is why I'm on here. So the one concerning thing about Joey Bosa, he's been in the league now 8 years. Of those 8 years, he has only played 3 full seasons. So he comes with a high potential and a high risk injury on his report card. Last year, only played 9 games. 2022, played 5 games. His last full season was in 2021. And prior to 2021, it was 2019 and then 2017. So he has not been good at being able to not get injured for a full season, which could be obviously a disaster for the Niners, something they wouldn't want to obviously happen with any player, but let alone somebody that's going to cost a premium to come in to the squad and get hurt. But with that being said, I think there is something to it. If you're playing alongside your brother, you're playing alongside a contending team, which the Chargers haven't been since Joey Bosa was drafted there, a true contender. There's something to it that he may be able to fight through a little bit more injuries where he's just like, what am I fucking playing for? Might as well save my body. Not saying that's what he does, but I'm saying that could be a possibility. So that is the concern with Joey Bosa. Outside of that, obviously the guy is a fucking monster. He's actually a little bit taller than Nick. He's 6'5", 280 is what he's weighed in at. And so this is something just to note, because when you compare Khalil Mack, he has played every game his entire NFL career outside of 2 seasons. He was drafted in 2014. He has been fully healthy and played every game except for 2 seasons since 2014. 10 years. He's only had 2 seasons where he's missed games due to injury. He's older in age. He was absolutely fucking dominant last year. And for those of you who can remember, when Khalil Mack was traded to the Chicago Bears, the 49ers were interested in getting Khalil Mack. They wanted to trade for him. And Mark Davis, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, refused to allow that to happen. So how sweet would it be if we can finally get the guy that they've shown interest in before, who's at his highest level of production, on to the 49ers squad? You want to talk about some dogs on that side of the ball? Let's fucking go. So this is just something, keep your eyes out open, keep your head on a swivel, because there could be some big news. It's coming down the pipe, and it could be happening soon. All right, y'all, I will be back with the latest and everything that's happening with the San Francisco 49ers. Until then, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Hit me up. Peace.